Good morning. Good morning. Today is Friday, September 29th, 2023. It's about 6 o'clock here in Pahrump, Kentucky. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. I'm with Department of Career Services, where we have a simple goal to help you get from where you are to someplace better, from point A to point B, from Someday Isle to Successlandia. And how do we do it? Well, we do it through the stuff down below, not in this podcast, but in the stuff below the podcast. That's how we do it. The stuff that's down below, because that's where the experts are. And over the years, over the 2,000 plus videos, we've kind of refined it all down to this is the most important thing, stuff. So let's get started. This is a 5-part podcast. So the first, I'll tell you the 5 parts. Prepare for the podcast. Prepare for the day. Have an attitude of gratitude exercise. Review our yesterday. Where do we come up short? Where do we exceed expectations? Plan for today. Then project our plan and go do our plan. Steps number 3, which is to review the day before. And step number 5, project and go, we do offline, because we don't need to have any dead air. Trying to keep this as short as possible so people can't say, well, it was just too long, man, and too long and boring. Well, it's boring, but maybe not too long. So good morning, Sophie. Good morning, gang sign. Pahrump gang sign. So let's get started with our breathing exercise. Is the Huberman one, and there's a short video from Andrew Huberman down below talking about this breathing exercise, not only to get as much air into our lungs, get the cortisol out, get the carbon dioxide out, but also to reduce stress. He talks about 2 things. One is the audible sigh. What's happening there is we have a long exhale. And so the next thing he mainly talks about is the double inhale, long exhale. So I've described it heretofore as letting the air fall out of your lungs, which he talked about in a previous video. But in this video, he talks about the long exhale to get the carbon dioxide out of your lungs. So it looks like this. Evacuation complete. Evacuation complete. Now the second part is a reminder of Darren Daly, talking about doing an experiment today. Why even smile at people? Hey, how are you? And see what their reaction is. All right, moving right along. Let's get our coffee. Pete's Coffee, courtesy of Randy Thistle. Next week, switching over to Starbucks, courtesy of Pastor Ruben Bajo. Big bag of Starbucks, like a, who knows, $50, $60, $70, $100 bag of coffee. Not too shabby, as Jesus said in Chosen. Okay, part 1 over, breathing exercise, prepare. Part 2 is what? What is part 2, Sophie? Attitude of gratitude. So writing your book, I'm so happy and grateful now that. Attitude of gratitude, right. I'm so happy and grateful now that what? Well, we need to Now turn that into a question. So it's a 3-step process, just like kind of like everything else is more than one step. Step 1 is to have a step 1 is write down. I'm so happy and grateful now that I was doing this. Step 2, turn it into a question, because our brains are designed, evolved, whatever term you want to use. If you are a believer, you don't like the word evolved. Designed is better, but this podcast is not for believers. If you're a believer, this is not for you. That you have little to gain from this. This is for the non-believer who is not successful. Our brains have evolved to solve problems. They're very good at solving problems. We just got to give it problems to solve. So the problem to solve is, what am I so happy and grateful for right now? And step 3, turn inward and look at the thoughts as they're going through the different voices in our head. As Moran Cerf said, we have many voices going on inside of our heads right now. So let's do that exercise. Okay, now moving right along. Step 3, review. Do that afterwards. Think of the highs, the lows. Just think back of your day. Let it kind of percolate through your system. How did you feel? So you can ask yourself the question, how did my day go yesterday? How did I feel about yesterday? What were the highs and lows? Ask your brain the questions. Ask yourself those questions and then turn inward and see the answers. Look at the answers popping into existence, scrolling, maybe doing that through your brain. Who knows? You can find out. Part 4, plan for today. Planning for today. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Work your plan. Plan your work your plan. Okay, some of the things today. Let us say, simple, you want to get from where you are to somewhere. Say, I believe that something great is going to happen to me today. I believe that something great is going to happen to me today. I believe something great is going to happen to me today. Say it until you feel it. Advice from an 80-year-old: don't burn bridges. You'll be surprised how many times you have to cross the same river. I don't know about that. I might say, make sure you're burning the bridge for the right reason. Okay, 3 simple goals for today. 3 simple goals. So you note a pattern here. We're kind of focusing on moving forward. Attitude of gratitude. Reflect yesterday. Use it as a learning experience. Advice from an 80-year-old. All good stuff. Now, 3 simple goals for today. 3 things you can easily accomplish today. What are 3 things you can get done today? 3 no-brainers. Again, ask yourself that question. What are 3 simple things I can do today? Turn your attention inward. Watch what's going through your brain. Groovy, great. All righty then. Okay, what's our time factor? Fear factor, time factor, 9 minutes in. Some other good things for today. We talked about Huberman TED Talk this is day 5 of week 3 in our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Derek Sivers doing showing in less than 5 minutes how a movement starts, using what we learned this week from David Logan, Seth Godin, Simon Sinek, and David Phillips. So really actually crystallizing the Seth Godin 4-step approach. Find part of the status quo to change, tell a compelling story, connect the true believers, ignore the non-true believers, and then lead them. Boom, that's how you get people on your metaphorical boat for your journey across the predictably unpredictable sea, a journey that is long. The obstacle is the way. Okay, motivational video today was on Stoicism. And it's kind of interesting. A thought occurred to me while I was listening to it is Stoicism. You listen to Stoicism and it's clear, it's concise, it's easy language, it's pragmatic. It's like, yeah, listen to it. Yeah, get it. Some things might be a little bit, you got to put a little bit more energy into thinking like the obstacle is the way. Well, when it's put into context of a journey and you have obstacles, then you understand the obstacle is the way. Stoicism is so easy to understand. Pull things out of. People argue and fight over what does it mean. In our Tuesday Bible thing, the key word being thing, men's group, cotton softens cotton. People take pride in that it's taken more than 6 weeks to go through the Lord's Prayer, the Apostles' Prayer, the Ideal Prayer, whatever you want to call it. So we can't even come up with one title, one name. Multiple names for the same thing. And taking 6 weeks to explain it, tain't good. No version of reality says if it takes you 6 weeks to explain something, that's good. No, not good. Stoicism, on the other hand, wow, get it. Wow, that's powerful stuff. When did that start? Oh, about 300 years before Jesus came along. What? Wait, what? What? Yeah. And then kind of about 160 years after Jesus, Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, dies, leaves his journals that are known as the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Really, really great stuff. Written by arguably the most powerful man in the world, notes to himself because he had no equals, no one to share his thoughts and times with. Everybody wanted something from him on some level. Different story, but that's inside this thing. Watch it. Seth's blog, always good. Inc. magazine, good one. Yeah, this is just good. Baraka Church. Schedule a 10-minute call with me. Yesterday, just we're 12 minutes in. Okay, so we got some time. A little bit of editorial. Yesterday, after the pastor's breakfast here, Thursday mornings, 8 o'clock, Mom's Diner, for those who are interested. Get to meet the pastors in town. Talking about pastures. Got to spend a few hours with Pastor Frank Esposito, going on the dump run, which means taking his vehicle with his trailer, going to the widows and orphans, i.e. the formerly known as AKA, not also known FKA, formerly known as FKA homeless. Pretty sad, pretty bad how they live. You have civilized, you have animal. This is above that. It's closer to animal than it is to civilized. They don't have places to throw their garbage. They often don't have garbage bags because they can't afford to spend the money to buy a pack of garbage bags. And of course, Frank is doing this on his own, so he needs to be a little bit niggardly. That's not the N-word, people. Look it up, check it out. It needs to be a little bit niggardly. That's not sort of like saying tit for tat. Not what you think. On the garbage bags, because he's got to buy them himself, and they're like 50 cents each. And of course, if you gave people a roll of 20 of them, they would use them. I think that's one of the areas the churches can help. Providing an ample supply of garbage bags, providing an ample supply of can openers, so that when we provide an ample supply of cans, people can actually get into them. Okay, there we go. There we at. All right, so we're at 1536 in. Big lesson yesterday, experiencing that. However, I'm also happy to report that Chaplain Drake is doing his job, spreading the word of love thy neighbor. Why don't I have any cards handy? The love thy neighbor cards. Dang. They're 5 feet that way. He's doing a great job of spreading the word, passing them out. People know they're not using them yet, but we're, one step at a time. Today the pits, tomorrow the wrinkles. What? Okay, so let's wrap this thing up, move on. Open the thing, let the light shine in. Have a new playlist on songs that are uplifting, not. Okay, so let's end this. All right. 2 last things. Number 1, you want to get from point A to point B? Simple. Act such that yesterday was the only easy day. Boom, booyah. Step 2. Okay, what does that mean? That means get comfortable being uncomfortable. Think about other people. Try to give meaning and purpose to your life. Next is what? I don't know what. If you're still here, God has a plan for you. No, that's for the believers. Once you're a believer, then you can accept that. For the non-believers, God's gift to you is your life. You can use it any way you want. It is yours. There's no strings attached. It's not a gift that if you don't use it properly, I'm going to take it back. No. Wait till you're a believer before you get into thoughts like that. That's higher level math. I'll put it politely. That's higher level math. There's no strings attached. Your gift from God is your life. How you choose to live your life is your gift to God. If you choose to one and done, la vida loca, boom, it's your life. You've got freedom. You're not straining against the goads. What? Look it up. Okay, so my advice to you is live your life such that it is your gift back to God. God doesn't need it, but it's your gift back to God. And if he doesn't want it, doesn't hurt you, right? Okay. That's the whole purpose of a gift. Alrighty then. So that's it for today. Another one in the can. Sorry, my apologies for going long. And boom.